Yeah, it was unusual, and really today was about us focusing on what we've got to do. And to be honest, against any opposition, that's what we normally do. But we felt like some parts of our game have been a bit inconsistent in the last month to 6 weeks, and we needed to get back to really disciplined footy. And for us, disciplined footy means being a little bit more unselfish. Now, that's not to say we've been playing selfish footy at all, but absolute, unequivocal application of our systems and structures. I know it's a cliche, but when we do those things, we're a really good side, and we got back to it today.
What set it up at the start?
I think in any game where you get on top early, you've got to win the ball in the contest, and we're able to do that and put the pressure on Melbourne's defenders. But we had a couple of specific things that we wanted to work on, and we've been pretty open in the last couple of weeks that we felt we needed to defend better and we could defend better. And all the attacking stuff was great, but we thought we made it hard for them to score early, won the ball in a contest and got it forward.
Did you find any fault from the performance?
I find it hard straight after the game. I'm sure we will in review. We've always got to strive to get better, but it was a pretty complete performance. I mean, even when you look at the individuals, I'm sure you're all right that Steve Johnson was amazing. 34 touches and 7 goals. That's amazing footy, but the way he defended and the way he played the role we asked him to play was absolutely first class, and internally will be rated so much more highly because of those defensive things rather than the offensive things.
Was his first quarter seemed amazing? Was that as good as you've seen him?
Yeah, it was certainly as good as I've seen him. I mean, you compare that game to the game he played at the Gold Coast, and they're absolutely chalk and cheese. And it was a real. Even the players were talking about it at quarter time, not the stuff he did with the ball in his hands, but the way he played the role we were asking of him, and that goes for all of our players. But he's obviously the one you'll talk about.
Were you surprised at the start of the game how much space Jimmy Bartel was given? I think he had about 5 touches in the first 10 seconds. I think Liam Jurra was rotating off him with Trengove. Were you just? I mean, he's such a good player. He was just given too much.
Yeah, but we have a few of them in the midfield. It's not for me to talk too much about the opposition, I don't think, as a rookie coach. We were a little bit surprised to see Jurra on the wing, but look, Jimmy's a good player, and he's beaten plenty of high quality opposition in the past.
So you came out from the box in the second quarter. Speaks specifically to Paul Chapman. What was the strength of all that?
He looked to us like he was a little bit angry. And our coach's box was really close to the bench. I'm sure it looked to you that way as well. So it was easy for me to get down there in 10 or 15 seconds, and I just want to have a chat to him face to face and make sure that he remained disciplined. And to his credit, he came back out and did that to the letter.
So it was more concerned with what he might do, or what was he getting away from the norms?
Oh no, it was nothing to do with the way we want to play. It was just he looked angry, and I felt like I needed to reassure him that there was no need to be angry.
Did he say what made him angry?
He said he didn't say what made him angry. He told me that he was angry with an opposition player. But my message to him was, I don't really care what they do to you. You've got to make sure that you rise above it. And I didn't see what happened to him.
Did you get what you'd hoped for out of Cam?
Yeah, we did. It was look, to be honest, it was only one step, a significant step, but still only the first step. Again, it's a bit like his VFL performances. He's been kicking goals. That's not a problem. And if Cam can play near his best, he's going to be well and truly in our best 22 players. But it's about how he moves, whether he can sustain the level required at AFL level, and how he pulls up during the week. And we can't answer those questions yet.
Well, in terms of the pace of the game, he looked okay?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. But we're not going to rush to judgment. I'm sure he's not either.
Was it particularly pleasing you were able to keep your foot on their throat? Extend it.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. I think it was really good from our perspective that we were able to keep playing the way we wanted to play. Last week against Richmond, the last quarter was as bad a quarter of footy as you'd see. And at least this week we were able to keep playing the way we want to play for the majority of the game.
So did you make mention at 3/4 time that I want to finish the game like we did last week, really?
I guess you could interpret it that way. The way I tried to get the message across was nothing much has changed from what we talked about before the game, quarter time, half time. We want to keep playing our way and do the things that are going to be sustainable in September.
What about Harry Taylor? Was that an ankle?
No, he got a little bit of a knock on his hip, and it was really early. And he came back on and looked okay, but he was clearly under a little bit of duress, so it didn't make sense for us at half-time to keep going with him.
Should be okay for next week.
Yeah, we think so. It's really hard to tell at this point, but it's effectively a bruise, so we think he'll be all right.
You've had Trent West come in, he's sort of been missing for nearly a year, but the last few weeks he's been okay?
Yeah, he's been pretty good. Yeah, the last 3 weeks. It's good for us to get some AFL footy into him. We really feel like we've got some viable options that haven't had an opportunity to play too much AFL footy. And if we have our best ruckman available, and West is clearly in that mix, one of them is going to miss out. But we've got to make sure that if we get an injury and we've got to bring someone in, they've been exposed to the level, and we've gone some way to doing that with Westy.
Do you think Podsy would have...
Good try. Last one.
Do you think Podsy would have been sitting there and gone, pick 37 without me? This is cruel.
Nah, Podsy's the ultimate team man, and all of our guys are, I'd like to think. So he would have been cheering the boys on and not thinking about himself.